have interest need to collect information from large parts for data, and of course the intelligence services are in that category. I think I will skip a little bit. I believe in reasoning for the future. In many ways, the difference between your average cow and your average Einstein is that Einstein can reason. The cow can feel and do a lot of things and has a wonderful brain, has a wonderful visual processing capability and some planning and all that. But Einstein can reason, and in my mind that's the difference between humans and animals. And I think that will be really, really important for the future. Too little is done with reasoning, which is strange. I can give you much more examples of why I think this is good. Of course, think outside the box. Don't try to see the differences, try to see what's the same, with a bit of crossover. If you are experienced on different places, try to marry them. Same but different, or else. In Sweden, up in the north, we say same. That's different. I'm not sure if you say that in Norway. Read a lot. You have to read a lot of business books, maybe 5 a week, to understand how business startup people are thinking. Because either you have to think like them, or you have to not think like them, but you have to sell to them. I have just a few minutes, but the luxury of speaking from a business side is I can say whatever I want about research. And I believe a lot in sequential optimal decision making, which is kind of the umbrella of the artificial intelligence, in my mind. I'll finish, almost finish with an IQ test. The next number. Everyone knows that it's 34 because of that equation. If you thought it was something else, it might be because your brain is hardwired to look at short things, Occam's razor, algorithmic complexity, this kind of stuff. And the most underestimated research the past 20 years, and I haven't even met the guy, so I'm not saying that for any other reason, but I think it's Marcus Hutter's work on the inversion of artificial intelligence, which really, to me, is the holy grail. And that's something you can look at and pick apart and see for research, of course, but also if there's a commercial side to it. We have tried to do some tests on implementing stuff like around this. I will not go into detail because I have just a few minutes. Instead, I will speak about the long-term future. So playing where the puck will be the next period or the next game. And here we go into really crazy stuff, which I believe in. If you plot the advance of technology, you can see it's exponential, especially information technology. And that means that things might go faster and faster. We might end in a place where people call it singularity. So we're getting to a place where computers and algorithms and other technology is so powerful that it's impossible for us to predict what will happen after this point. That's called the singularity. And I believe in that. Some do, some are angry about the theory. But I will show you a 2-minute clip of the guy that has got the most, in my opinion, in this field. And it's Ray Kurzweil. I recommend all his books. And this is a clip of this is the official trailer of a movie about him. And it explains it better than I could. So this is a little bit what I believe about the future.
The reason I'm calling today is to express my disappointment that you have invited this highly sophisticated crackpot and given him a national forum to express his pseudo-religious predictions that have no basis in objective reality.
If you go back 500 years, not much happened in a century. Now a lot happens in 6 months. Technology feeds on itself and it gets faster and faster. It's going to continue. In about 40 years, it's going to be moving so fast, the pace of change is going to be so astonishingly quick that you won't be able to follow it unless you enhance your own intelligence by merging with the intelligent technology you've created.
This guy is freaky. He says computers will have consciousness in just 25 years.
If you get to the 2030s, you're not going to be able to tell a clear difference between human and machine intelligence.
Ray Kurzweil makes a prediction, so folks listen.
He predicted the collapse of the Soviet Union, described the rise of the internet, and foretold the year the computer would be the chess champion.
He's an award-winning scientist and engineer, a millionaire several times over because of his invention.
These inventions may end up causing the worst war that humanity's ever had.
Corporations and governments and societies will be created and destroyed on the back of the technology that this book describes.
Inventor Ray Kurzweil thinks that one day humans may be able to live forever.
I want to live as long as I can. I don't want to die. If following Ray's regimen would put that day off, I would very welcome to do that.
I knew there was a reason I was keeping all this stuff, and he kept all this stuff. I did plan to bring back my father.
It's going to scare a lot of people.
The world is changing far too fast. Nothing like this has ever happened to Homo sapiens before.
These ideas are going to ultimately change the world. We didn't stay on the ground, we didn't stay on the planet, and we didn't stay with the limitations of our biology.
I think Ray is performing the services of a prophet. That's wrong.
He has used the gift that he was given for the betterment of humankind. That's what I mean.
It will be the universe waking up.
So if you're not familiar with this, I can recommend reading, for instance, The Singularity is Near. It's a good book. And I actually believe in it. And maybe we can take a beer and discuss that. I can talk forever about the singularity. The last story, I think I have maybe a couple of minutes, is related to this. So if we're heading in a direction with rapidly developing computer power and algorithms, what should we do? And the true story, even though it's, maybe it's exaggerated, but I downloaded an app on my iPhone from a guy I didn't know much about, Peter Nordin, and he's in kind of crazy guru. It was called Stress Free, and I thought maybe I need that. And so you go through all sorts of exercises and then make conclusions out of that. And one of the exercises was if you had everything in your life, if you had all the money you want, if you had all the fame you want, if you had all the relationships you want, if you had everything you want, what should you do in that case? What would you like to do? Take 30 minutes to meditate over that. Good exercise, can recommend it. And I did that. And my answer at that point was that I would like to make it easier for us humans to get the right decisions. Because a lot of the suffering in the world is by bad decisions. And a lot of the wiring in the brain is made for Stone Age, and it's not a good way of making decisions. So we have started to work. This is the first time I mention this in public. We have started to work on a company that will be kind of a decision site. Doesn't need to make money. It's just a place where it will. Maybe you can share your difficult decisions. You get help from artificial intelligence because the decision, as I said before, sequential decision theory is artificial intelligence in my mind. The next thing is decisions, and my life is run by Excel, except my wife. So I have an Excel sheet based on decision theory, which every morning tells me what to do. It's quite easy, simple stuff. And the next project is called iQuadra, which will be a site to help with decisions. Also social network site where you can share your decisions, your wisdom, and with anonymous people or with your friends, depending on your decisions and your questions. So, with that, a very quick summary. As an artificial intelligence researcher, you are sitting on one of the most valuable commodities in the world right now, and I will believe that. If you make the right decisions, go for bang for buck, and think of that Scandinavia is a little bit different in many ways. You can just not copy the books from the US, for instance. AI moves very quickly compared to other businesses, and you must wait for the right moment when you're jumping onto a new wave, and it's just a jump. So with that, Elvis and I say thank you for time.
We do have a few minutes for questions.
Yeah, so a question that I get quite often is from students who they are interested in AI and they want to make a career in this area. And the question they ask me is, what should I study to be able to have a career in AI? What would your suggestion or recommendation to them be?
You can think of an entrepreneurial career, and quite frankly, like 10 or 20 of my students are entrepreneurs, and because it's been a new field. But if you put that aside, maybe, I think autonomous systems. Volvo has hired a lot of my students. The internet and all regarding optimization on the internet, and the ad, knowing how that works, but that's just optimization. Anything around text mining, software text mining like clustering, n-gram methods, all of that. And I believe that in just a few years, reasoning will be really important. Connected to the semantic web and all of that. So I think we will have search engines that will allow you to search for causal chains or whatever. The reasoning is important. And then, of course, take some business courses, I think, also.
So a traditional computer engineering or computer science background together with some business courses or similar would be a good recommendation then.
And directly towards optimization, which is a large part of AI, but of course not all AI. But a lot of things, if you can optimize something, you can make more money, and it's easier to be in that business, and then it's easier to hire someone. So that's one answer, I guess. Another answer, because we as AI scientists have to watch our back a little bit. At AstraZeneca, there are about 1,000 AI scientists. They don't call it like that, but they are statisticians, and they are now learning Bayesian inference theory, adaptive, inductive modeling, adaptive study design, a lot of things which are, to me, artificial intelligence, and, but they are calling themselves statisticians. And that kind of angle is a lot of jobs.
I would appreciate if you could comment on Chuck Moore and the greenarrays.com company. They are preparing a fourth chip with 144 processors. So there's a good chance you know what they are doing, and I was just wondering if they are like 10 years ahead of time, because it's like it's like not the straight